is Shawna Lynn. You're at Backstage Drivers TV, and we're here today with Ben Mainers, also known as the rock star. Right?
Yeah.
He's been an entertainment truck and tour bus driver for over 8 years. He's worked with such artists as George Strait, right? Brooks and Dunn.
Yep.
Alan Jackson, Brad Paisley, and the Newsboys.
Yep.
Those are just to name a few. But so good to have you here.
Well, it's good to be here.
Look at
Thank
you
you.
all spiffy and stuff.
Thank you. You look good
Wouldn't
yourself.
have it any other way. Wouldn't have it any other way. All right, now, what I want to know, what everybody else wants to know here and why they're here is, how did you get started in the business?
That's kind of funny. A friend of mine, Mark, he's always finds these weird jobs. I mean, you like go in the back of a grocery store and just come out and be working for Bartlin Bailey's circus or something. I mean, these weird jobs. Anyway, he kind of got into it and brought my other friend, JT, in it, and I kind of got into it. They just dragged me into it, I guess you'd say. So it, you know, worked out all right, and I started working.
Well, that's a good job to get drug into.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a dream come true, I guess.
How did you get your nickname Rockstar? How did that come about?
I was actually on the Alan Jackson tour, and out there everybody tries to have fun, and I always was trying to find nicknames for everybody because everybody's hard to remember people's names.
Right.
And so it's kind of ironic, but nobody could ever like quote put me a name, which I always kind of dress up. And I was actually coming in catering, and everybody'd been trying to put a name with me, and they couldn't never really, click on it. And then all of a sudden, the Sugar Bears, one of the drivers out in Alan Jackson with us, and he jumped up and he said, "Man, your elfin name is Elfin Rockstar." And I was like, no, man, everything. And it seemed like everybody just busted out laughing. They was like, yeah, and it was just a big ruckus was going on, and it just kind of went from there. And I was like, well, Rockstar is really not that bad. After that, it just.
But now you're okay with that, right?
Well, I mean, that's better. That's a lot better than being like Twinkie or Tweety Bird, or something like that. Not to say no names, anybody out there with Twinkie or Tweety Bird. I don't want no, people come and beat me up saying, hey, that's my name,
Okay. Now, on tour, what was the best tour that you've worked on so far?
Wow, that's a big. There's two of them, I guess I'd say. George Strait, hands down. Leroy, love you guys. And I mean, just that is a major group, family oriented, and I love that about that tour versus other tours. Not to name no names or nothing, but the initials are Brad. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But the other one was Newsboys. I really like Michael and Duncan, all of them. Just if you don't mind me throwing a plug in there for Michael, like you guys, and just a great tour. That's another family oriented, because of the Christian. I think that has a lot to do with it. The great Christian people, and I enjoyed that a lot. Probably one of my favorites.
All right, now favorite tour. How about a favorite artist? That's separate from. You have someone that you just really enjoyed working for?
I've always liked Brooks and Dunn. I mean, Ronnie Dunn with his voice. I mean, he's an absolutely incredible, vocalist, and I enjoy that tour a lot. And probably I still like George. I mean, that's the King George. I mean, can you get any better than that for real?
He is an icon.
Yeah, definitely an icon.
What's your favorite memory on tour? You have a favorite memory? Anything fun that happened?
I was on the Alan Jackson tour, and Sugar Bear and my friend JT and me was all, running together, and we was going to another show, and we had a travel day, and we was all getting hungry, so we stopped at this KFC, and we, of course, ate our meal and stuff like that. Well, Sugar Bear had a couple pieces of chicken left over, so he puts it in a to-go box. Well, he has to use the restroom, so he gets up, and while he's gone, me and JT, we start talking. We was like, man, we need to play a joke on him. So we took our chicken bones and our macaroni dish that we had left over, and we tried to weigh it to where it's about the same, fill it with paper and everything. So when he comes back and he picks it up, and all the way there for just hours at a time, I was sitting there on the seatbelt, like, man, that was just a great KFC, we stopped. Man, that chicken was so good. I kept thinking that he would try to like pull it out. But so a few hours later, we started talking about it. I was sitting there telling the same thing, and he reaches back in his cooler and tries to pull that KFC box out and has a rough time getting it. And he's talking to his wife on the phone, and he grabs this chicken. He's thinking that he's going to eat this chicken. He opens up, and there's a bunch of chicken bones. Man, he gets so mad at me. You know me.
Were you new then, or?
No, I wasn't new. I was
the scapegoat. That's what it was.
I was definitely the scapegoat on that, for sure. But his wife was saying it was so funny. That was the letdown of getting off a rock star, because she was like, "I think that's hilarious," and everything. So that was a great memory.
Now, as a new driver, what was your hardest challenge?
My hardest challenge was, knowing what to do.
Right.
You go into something new, it's always, in fear of, can I do this job? Because, wow, this is not just driving freight down the road. I mean, you're actually have a reputation to uphold, driving for stars.
Right.
There's a lot of do's and don'ts that you would do, with this job. And
so are there don'ts that people don't tell you that you just kind of have to learn on the way up?
Yeah, that's a really good point. There's a lot of do's and don'ts, and definitely the do's is do your job and to be seen but not seen. In other words, when it's time to load in or load out, make sure you're there, because you can't be late, because there's a lot of responsibility. Time is also an issue of we got to be on time with all this. So, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And a lot of people is cut out for this, and some people's not.
Yeah. Don't get starstruck.
No,
number
starstruck.
One, don't get starstruck. Yeah.
No starstruck.
Have you ever been let go from a tour?
Wow, you just keep digging.
I gotta ask.
Really?
I gotta ask.
mean, wow, you're really trying to pull the strings out, ain't you? Yes, I have been let go of a job.
Okay.
And
did you recover?
Oh, yeah, I recovered, yeah. I mean, because when you're a great driver, not trying to brag on myself, but, I do my job. I learned how to do my job and do my job well out there. And when you do that with this elite club, your reputation is known through the industry of being a credibility, liable person to do a job. So, I bounce back, yeah.
What's your favorite part of the job?
My favorite part of the job is just, like I said, I've always wanted to be in the music industry somehow. And when I got into this, it is a dream come true for actually driving for the stars. And I never did. If I look back, I was like, would you be driving for, celebrities? No, I probably would never have said that. But since I've done it, I enjoy it very much. I mean, it's some of the greatest memories that I've, ever had. Just to know that you get paid by music. The music industry. I mean, that's a lot of people. They wish they could, have an opportunity that would come their way. And, and it's, like I said, it's a very hard job to do, but it's also a luxury job too.
Now, which do you like driving better, a truck or a tour bus?
Wow, that's a good question, because there's a lot of, good and bad by both. Because if you're driving a truck, you can kind of have your own party. Say, crank the radio as loud as you want or whatever. As driving a bus, it's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. It's like you got their lives in your hand at every given moment, even at 2 or 13 in the morning. I mean, you got their lives in your hand. You got to make sure that you're doing the smoothest ride that you can possibly, have, and you can't hit the rumble strip. The
rumble bits?
Rumble strips. It's those little things on the side that go,
Oh, okay.
Because that's where your
But
job...
you can't be doing the rumplements either. That doesn't work either, right?
No. That's where your job's going to end if you hit one of those.
All right. Now, you've driven on tour with Lucky, our Backstage Drivers creator. How does he run a tour?
Can't say enough great things. I mean, he's actually the one who got me to start in driving for buses. He gave me that opportunity. That he said, I'm not promising you nothing, but it could work out, and I didn't know that the clientele of a great guy he has, and the mentor that he has done for a lot of other people, and that has led to be respectful type person that he is, and also I mean, he is kind of strict, you know.
There you have it.
You know, he is a strict, but point about it is, I mean, he wants you to do a job out there, and I mean, you got to live up to that reputation too of doing what he wants to do. And a lot of people can't take that. They can't take when somebody tells you to do something, you know, you got to do it, no matter if you like it or not. You know, there's a lot of attitudes out there too.
Though there's a reason, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a reason. I mean, for him or any person that's a lead driver to tell you to do it, because it's, you know, they have a job out there and they know more about what you need to be doing than you. You know, if you come in there as a new person or whatever.
Well, and for the new people, do you have any thoughts, any last words of advice for the newbies out there? Anything to kind of give them words of wisdom?
Don't do it. I'm just playing. I mean, don't, no, but go to work for Snyder. But I'm just kidding, FedEx. But no, but if you're going to get in this industry, you know, it's a lot of responsibility. But you know, that goes, you know, because you're responsible to getting on time. Right. You know, definitely time is always a factor when you're on tour. A lot of people like driving for freight. You can pretty well fluctuate. But when you drive for stars, I mean, you got to be on time. That is one of the main. Right. That's one of the pet peeves that, you know, a tour is they definitely want you there on time. Can't ever be late. And another thing is these veteran drivers that's been out here. For a tip for the new people, I would say, man, just be like a sponge to them, and just, you know, don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid of saying, oh, I got too much pride, I got this job. No, you don't. You don't have this job. You got this job because of a person that is believing in you, because usually that's how you get in this industry anyway, is because, you know, you got to be brought into this industry. Like I said earlier, Lucky, I mean, he brought me into the bus industry, and so thankful for that. But, you know, he brought me along because he knew I had responsibilities, and I did my job, and I did my job well, because I've learned out of, you know, great people like that's a veterans to this industry. I mean, I was like a sponge, like I said, and just tried to absorb as much information as possible, because, you know, information is the key. Because a lot of times, you know, you might be caught up in a situation where you're not really for sure about something. Like a carpenter is coming up to you, and, you know, and you might get in a dispute, and you really want to knock this dude out. And that's not the way to really handle that situation, you know. Right. So you really need to go back to your lead driver, or go back to the person that's in charge of you, of your job, and say, hey, so-and-so is this. Am I doing this right or wrong? Should I be doing this? And let him guide you, because he is the one that's in charge out there of you. And because you don't want to be doing something, because, you know, you don't want to be caught up in, as I say, drama. You know, you don't want that. There you have it. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping in. I know you're busy. I know you got places to go, people to drive around. I'll see you later.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. And we'll see you back. Backstage Drivers TV. Bye.